I had an experience recently where I was clear that I attracted this person into my experience, and there was some unwanted, but I was thrilled that I knew that I did that. I knew that it had nothing to do. I mean, there was a little bit of unwanted qualities, but I was like, I did that and I can change that. And so part of what you just spoke to, you answered part of my question, because you talk about, well, if what we get is wanted, then adjust nothing. But if there's some that's unwanted, then adjust it. So I hear that in the softening. So can you just
the other day
more about the softening?
Someone asked Esther, what do you think, in a nutshell, if you had to articulate it quickly and easily, what would you say is one thing that I could do that would put me steadily on the path of living happily ever after? And the impulse came to Esther immediately. Make an enemy of no one. Don't find anyone and use that person as your reason to push against. Make an enemy of no one, because all that happens when you find that condition or that person or that situation or that whatever it is to push against is that you practice a vibration that does not allow everything that you've been asking for and everything that you deserve to be current right now in your experience. You won't hold it off forever, because well-being is yours to experience. You will eventually have what you call your death experience. We like to call it croaking, because there is no death. And you will in one fell swoop release all resistance, and you will be the receiver of all that you've been asking for. You will come back into alignment. We just don't think you should have to croak to do it. We think you should be able to practice yourself incrementally into that soft allowance of the well-being. And it's not a soft, flimsy, uneventful life experience. It's a vivid, exciting, momentous life. In other words, you have not been dabbling at life. You've put plenty into your vortex. There's plenty lined up for you. We're just saying you got to slow it down a little bit to start noticing that you're letting it in. And once you got this letting in good, then you can start rampaging. Then you can start making lists of things that you want. Then you can take something that you know that you want that hasn't happened yet, and you can begin expressing it in vivid, clear terms and take pleasure from the expressing. And that's the piece that we so want you to hear. If you're affirming to the universe because you're trying to talk the universe into something, or because you're trying to overcome some obvious resistance that's been keeping you from living something, now you're trying too hard. It's working against you. You want to say it. You want to say the words because it's pleasurable to say them. You want to think the thoughts because it's pleasure. You're soothing yourself into alignment. So you're using these mantras and you're using these affirmations because saying them just feels good. Because when you say them, you find resonance with the source within you. Ooh, that's so big. That's such an important thing. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you affirm to try to make things happen. And this whole conversation all day today has been about softening your point of attraction in order to let in what you've been asking for that is queued up right against whatever barrier you've got. So the art of allowing is softening that, softening that, softening that. And at first, the softening happens with general statements. But once you've got it, once you've been doing it for a while, for a week or two or three or four or five or six or seven or eight or nine or 10, once you've got that, now you start living step 4. Now you're walking around knowing that well-being is yours, knowing that you are the center of the universe, knowing that you are worthy, knowing that you are loved, knowing that you can be or do or have anything that you choose, and knowing that it is simply your work to define what it is and hold yourself in a frequency that allows it to come, and that you get to modify your thinking every step along the way in exactly the way that any masterful creator molds clay into the sculpture that is exactly the way he wants it to be. You are molding the clay through your thoughts, through your emotions, through your exposure to life, through your experience with all of these people who are helping you know how you're doing. You don't, as creators in clay, you don't take a big clump of clay and throw it down on the table the first time and say, "Oh, I thought it would be better." You expect to mold it a little bit. You expect to transform from your vortex idea of what you want to transform it into a reality. And this is the same thing, you see. Really good. Something more?
Yeah, actually, just with the discussion around food and actually recovery combined, I've been in the food division of the 12-step community for actually 22 and a half years. And for me, the food is different than the other substances of alcohol and drugs and whatever else, because we have to continue to engage in it on a daily basis.
We just want you to think for a little while, because you've said really a lot just now. 22 years and it's different, and so we just want you to start by thinking something like this. What conditions have I been manufacturing for myself to make this a hard topic? Because you are the creator of the conditions. You're the creator of the way you are looking at it, you see. That's why we always say, start with easier things. Start with easier things. Because if you start with something easier, you will gain quick confidence in your ability to focus, and the realization of results will be really obvious. If you start with something that you've been 22 years in the trying to figure out, then sometimes it's a little harder place to focus.
It doesn't feel hard to me. It feels easy. What I wanted some clarity around is the variety.
Well, then how about this statement? This is a good one for all of you. I could say that better.
Okay.
So you just said some things to us, and now say to yourself, wait, I can say that better. So say what you just said to us better. Say it better. And by better, you all know what we mean. In a more soothing to yourself way, in a more expecting of immediate results way. Say it better. We don't want the facts that don't apply. We want the current facts. We want the we want you to take your current reality and say it in a way that causes you to demonstrate to the universe a vibration that's going to yield to you what you want. That was clear, wasn't it?
Yep.
Say it better.
Okay, so I'm in a place where I love my food. I love the food I eat. I love my body. I recently switched gears in terms of vegan, and not because of little animals, just because it feels good.
Now you're just jumping it up for no reason.
Okay.
Now you're just making it harder for no reason.
Okay.
So get into a really general place and say it better.
Okay. What I'm seeking is more ease, more freedom around.
Right, but make it current. In other words, you're making it sort of something that's out there. I'm considering turning this into something that is more freedom and ease, but you're doing it right now. So bring it current and say it now. In other words, say it as best you can now, in the easiest way you can. Say it as best you can right now.
Say my question or the what is this?
The creation of your atmosphere. Because your work 100% of the time is to create an atmosphere that lets in the most right now that will please you.
Okay.
The most impulses, the most communication between cells and source. So that's what you're doing right now. You're not writing a book about it. You're not having a debate with anybody else about different possibilities. You're not even thinking about what's been going on for 22 years. All you're doing right here and now is creating an atmosphere that's the most conducive for you feeling emotionally the best that you can feel. So you can say it better. What are some words?
Freedom comes to mind.
Freedom's a really good word with a whole lot of attachments to it. So maybe you could find a word that's easier. One that's, in other words, freedom. For when we love you so much, but when you say freedom, what activates in most of you is the bondage that you are seeking freedom from. So you can say it better.
Ease is the other word that comes out.
Yeah, ease is a good.
Ease.
Fun, delicious, good feeling, energy. Clarity. Ooh, I have such a good body. My body represents my focal point in this world. Ooh, so nice to have this body. So much source energy, adoring, focusing through my body. Ooh, some of you are getting it. Can you feel vitality in your cells right now with that statement? Do you feel that? Do you feel source enjoying your body just now? Seriously, can you feel that? Sort of energy moving, little prickles that you weren't aware of. That source is loving your body. I love how source loves my body. That's saying it better. I love how source loves my body. Love the communication that source has with my cells. I love the understanding that my cells have. I love that. My work is just to be easy about it and get out of the way of it and follow my natural impulses. And maybe that's all you have to say. There's a tendency to want to talk it to death. To want to talk it until you get to the bottom of it. There is no bottom. You're not going to get to the bottom. So just find something that makes you feel ease and makes you feel good. And then watch what happens. Watch what happens. Mm-hmm. When your body feels as good as it feels right now, can you feel? Here you are, floating around, sitting on your chair, source energy flowing to you. This is a lovely state of physical beingness. It is. Lovely state of physical beingness. Everybody knowing what to do, all the cells communicating and knowing what to do. I can say it better. I've been making too big of a thing out of this. I've been trying too hard about all of this. I've been approaching this from a reactionary standpoint instead of from an inside-out standpoint. I believe in the intelligence of my body and the intelligence of and there are a whole lot of things that I accept that are in my vortex. Whole lot of things. Cars, relationships, dollars, money, abundance of all manner, friendships, physical conditions, clothing, jewelry. There are all kinds of things. There are all kinds of things. Physical well-being, stamina, enthusiasm for life, all kinds of things in my vortex that one as easily as the other is going to be realized by me, and one's not different from the other. The food isn't different from anything else. Nothing's different from anything else. It's just my perspective of it. I set up the conditions that make it more difficult or more easy. You getting that? People will say, I have this difficult thing that I need to talk about, and we want you to understand you're the one that established the conditions that has presented the difficulty that makes it harder for you to allow it in, but everything is easy. It is as easy to create a castle as a button. Provided you want the castle. And it's such an interesting thing because really you want the castle way more than you want the button, but you allow the button way more than you allow the castle. So if you could make the castle and the button and the food and the body and the lover and the money all equal, all in the vortex, all queued up, all ready for you, how can you say it in a way that allows you to be the realizer of that? We think this is a really good time for a segment of refreshment.